Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and greetings to our viewer. We are from group M4 consisting 4 members, which is Sumayyah, Danish, Aiman and me, Laila. Today we will be presenting subtopic 15.3, menstrual cycle. Okay, so first of all, what is menstrual cycle? So, menstrual Menstrual cycle involves the production of secondary oocyte. Wait.
Oocyte.
Oocyte and thickening of the endometrial wall throughout one cycle. In this cycle, the endometrium will become soft, thick, and rich with blood vessels. This is to prepare the endometrium for embryo implantation. If fertilization does not take place, the secondary oocyte will die, and the endometrium wall will shed. This will lead to bleeding, or also known as menstruation. So this is how oocyte look like. Now proceeding to the functions of hormone in menstrual cycle. There's 4 hormones that are involved in this menstrual cycle process. First, follicle. Follicle stimulating hormone, or also known as FSH. The second hormone is luteinizing hormone, LH. The third is estrogen, and the fourth is progesterone. Now, what are the functions of the hormones? You can refer to your textbook in page 293 in the tables 15.2. Now, FSH and LH are the production of gland pituitary. Okay, that's correct. So, FSH stimulates follicle growth in the ovary, and it also stimulates the release of estrogen. For LH, it stimulates ovulation and causes the formation of the corpus luteum. It also stimulates the release of progesterone. For estrogen and progesterone, it is produced by gland ovary. Estrogen repairs and stimulates the thickening of the endometrium, stimulate follicle growth until it matures, and stimulate FSH and LH release prior to ovulation. For progesterone, it stimulates and thickening of the endometrium, making it thick, folded, and rich in blood vessels to prepare for the implantation of embryo. It also stops the release of FSH and LH to prevent follicle growth and ovulation. Okay, so here's a little bit more facts or information about FSH. In women's system, FSH helps control the menstrual cycle and stimulates the growth of eggs in the ovaries. But how about men? Yes, men do in fact have FSH, though the function is different from the woman's system. In men, it helps control the production of sperm, while in children, the levels of FSH are usually low until puberty hits, that it begin to rise. In girls, it helps signal the ovaries to make estrogen. In boys, it helps signal the testes to make testosterone. Estrogen, or also known as estrogen, it is involved in 4 different parts of the body. First of all, ovaries. Estrogen or estrogen helps to stimulate the growth of the egg
follicle,
while in the vagina, estrogen maintains the thickness of the vaginal wall and promotes lubrication. In the uterus, estrogen enhances and maintains the mucous membrane that lines the uterus. It also regulates the flow and thickness of the uterine mucus secretion. For breast, the body uses estrogen in the formation of breast tissue. This hormone also helps stop the flow of milk after weaning. For LH, LH helps to control menstrual cycle and trigger the release of egg from ovary for women's system. While in men's system, it causes the testicle to make testosterone, which are important for producing sperm. In the children's system, the LH level are usually low until the puberty hits and the levels are starting to rise. Progesterone prepares the endometrium for the potential of pregnancy of ovulation. It triggers the lining to thicken and accept a fertilized egg. It also prohibits the muscle contractions in the uterus that would also cause body to reject an egg. While the body is producing high levels of progesterone, the body will not ovulate. So that is all from me. I will give it to Aiman.
Day 025. One day before menstruation begins, the hypothalamus secretes gonadotropin-releasing hormones. GnRH stimulates the pituitary glands to secrete FSH and LH. The pituitary glands secrete FSH and LH. 3. FSH stimulates the development of follicles in the ovary. In the primary follicles, the primary oocyte develops into the secondary oocytes, which is contained in the Graafian follicles. 4. The developing follicular cells secrete estrogen. Estrogen renew and repair the uterine wall and stimulate the thickening of endometrium. Estrogen also promotes the development of follicles. Day 6 to 14. 5. Estrogen's level continue to rise and peaks on the 12th days. The high level of estrogen stimulates the hypothalamus to secrete GnRH. The high level of GnRH in turn stimulates the pituitary glands to secrete more FSH and LH.
Day 15 to 21 on menstrual cycle. First, estrogen and progesterone are secreted when luteinizing hormone stimulates corpus luteum. Second, estrogen and progesterone inhibits the release of follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone from hypothalamus via negative feedback mechanism as to stop the growth of new follicle. Thirdly, progesterone stimulates the endometrial wall that is thickening, enriching it with blood vessels for embryo implantation where fertilization takes place. Finally, day 22 to 28 of menstrual cycle. First, if no fertilization occurs, luteinizing hormone will decrease and will stop the secretion of estrogen and progesterone. Secondly, endometrium will shed and menstrual will begin because there is no stimulation from estrogen and progesterone. Thirdly, low level of estrogen and progesterone will no longer inhibit hypothalamus and pituitary gland, causing the gonadotropin-releasing hormone to be secreted again and stimulate the secretion of follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Finally, new menstrual cycle will begin. If fertilization do occur, corpus luteum will continue to grow and secrete progesterone and estrogen. This will cause the endometrial wall continually thicken in order to support fetal growth. Last but not least, here's the graph of thickness of the endometrial wall. You can see the endometrial wall is thickening from 0 to 15 mm. The blood capillary also increased from day 0 to day 30. That is all from me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I will explain the roles of hormones in pregnancies and miscarriage. The corpus luteum will continue to secrete estrogen and progesterone from 3 to 4 months after pregnancy. After that, the corpus luteum will disintegrate and the production is taken over by the placenta until the baby is born. Progesterone inhibits secretion of FSH and LH. Thus, menstrual cycle and ovulation do not occur during pregnancy. The imbalance of progesterone and estrogen levels may lead to a miscarriage due to low progesterone level, causing the uterus to shrink. Next is premenstrual syndrome. Before menstruation, some women will experience emotional, mental, and physical changes. The woman is said to have premenstrual syndrome, which includes the symptoms experienced by a woman before menstruation starts. It is caused by the imbalance of estrogen and progesterone levels within menstrual cycle. Among the symptoms are fatigue, headache, emotional instability, and bad temper. And the last part is menopause. Menopause occurs within the age of 46 to 50 years old, when aging process causes the ovaries to become inactive. The increase in age leads to reduced secretion of progesterone and estrogen, which then causes reduced stimulation of FSH and LH on the ovaries. The menstrual cycle becomes irregular and shorter, eventually stops due to the lack of stimulation by sex hormones. At this stage, the ovaries stop producing ovum. Women no longer able to conceive a child anymore. Some of the symptoms are fatigue, hot flushes, difficulty in sleeping, and headaches. This is the end of our presentation. That's all from us. Thanks for watching.